Evidently, the government in Delta State has gone into overdrive, what the marathons we call the home stretch. We have heard of so many alliances and alignments with your candidature by some support groups, especially the P2B support group, the Obedience. What is the true story?
Put it this way, Peter. Given the situation we had found ourselves in the state, a test of over 7 years, everybody has come to terms with the fact that we have to get it right this time. The affinity between the Peter Obi support base or group are individuals that have lived in Delta all their lives, or at least a good portion of their lives. So the question is that they know for a fact what is honest. They know who can do this job. They know who can salvage the problem. They know who has somebody, or among the various candidates, the one that has no godfather, who has not been part of the looting of the treasury of the state. They know who can develop Delta. So what you are saying is an offshoot of the fact that they want to get it right. All the excuses and stories they've been told over the years has come to fore that they cannot compromise the lives of their children, the lives of their grandchildren, the lives of their father and mother, the lives of the youth that has been disused and have been put in such a state of hopelessness. So everybody is coming together. You saw the massive endorsement yesterday by all the pastors here. You saw what the Anglican pastors and church have done, over 51,000. You saw what the Baptist conventions have done. You've seen what all the various groups, you saw what teachers are doing. They've all come to join me. And that is because they believe and they know that I am not corruptible. That the issue of Delta is one that has largely lived with corruption. But with me, it is impossible. And thank God, I don't have any of them to talk about as somebody who they want to control, who is going to spend Delta State money in paying lodges that makes no sense. The reason why you see everybody is talking about Gbagi in either a positive or a negative sense. But I believe very strongly, if the Delta State we all know is a 96% Christian, and the entire Christian family in Delta State have said Gbagi or nothing, we'll be very happy on March the 11th at the election result, because I very much know I will emerge the winner of the election. All that we need to be mindful about is the video that I just made around that Okowa is willing to pay, the audio. Okowa is willing to pay 50,000 each. This money, Deltans, are your money that has been borrowed, which yourself, your father, your mother, your sisters and brothers will have to pay whichever way. So it is your money, and my advice is that take this money, eat it with joy, but vote for me to be able to reindustrialize Delta. Delta can only be able to pay the debts back. Delta can only be able to run the state with industrialization at our peak. I have promised that I will bring back all moribund industry back to full functionality within 1 year. I have promised that I will pay all gratuity and pension as at when due during retirement. I will structure all the backlogs of pension payments that have been stolen from the owners. The issue of pension and gratuity does not belong to government. It belongs to the people. They have contributed money, and it is their right to have those money to support themselves after retirement. It is criminal. It is a sin for anybody to steal that money, amass all this money, and now using it to buy the conscience of electorate during election with 50-50. Pastors are crying, people are crying, NGOs are crying that they started deploying 50,000 to people. Take that money, don't be gullible. That money will not resolve your children's problem for the next 8 years. That money will not give you a good school for 8 years. That money will not give you a good hospital for 8 years. Take that money, eat it, and vote SDP. With me, you are guaranteed that your money can never be stolen, that your money will not be used for illicit arrangement, your money will not be used for buying votes that God will not agree. Anybody who plans without God plan to fail. I believe very strongly the entire church of the state is in support of a good government, and they have aligned themselves with me. The Peter Obi support group is not outside the state. They know every individual and how we have come here. I will industrialize Delta. I know what it takes to bring Delta back to its feet. We were better than Lagos, and then that's my goal, an objective that I will, at the end of the day, make Delta a great place for us to come back to and our children brought back.
I'm going to come to specifics about what we'll be doing with Delta states, even though most politicians are promised so much and deliver less than nothing. But let's come to your relationship and emphasis on the church. A lot of people have criticized your dependence on the church. Why is that a strategy for you?
Put it this way, I've said first and foremost, I'm going to create Ministry of Religious Affairs. Why would we? If 95-96% of the people believe in a particular and certain way of life, why wouldn't we don't relate with it? First and foremost, I'm a Catholic. I don't trace of any diabolical relationship with anybody or any cult or anybody in the world. So that's where my strength comes from. My father founded the CAC church with Babalola. So all my upbringing has been in the church. That's where I believe. And in any case, why not? Why not believe in the church? Why not believe in pastors? Why not believe in them? Somebody criticized me on Monday very heavily that you are relying on the church, they would deceive you. I said, no, the church is behaving the way they have behaved because Okowa used them, dumped them, and lied. But they all know that obviously I have no reason to do otherwise. If you are in my compound today, it's not for the fact of wealth. You saw my chapel here that sits about 100 and something persons. When I didn't know Okowa very well, Okowa was the one who came to commission the church. But I've come to tell Nigerians and Deltans that Okowa does not believe. Just the view of that voicemail tells you that Okowa does not believe in anything that is real with God. Even when Atiku is expressing fear, when Tamboa was expressing, no, his own is that money can do anything. That's why he has deceived all the pastors, he has deceived all the church. He does not believe in it. He believes in things other than the truism of our life as Christians. So I want to say, I rely very strongly. My disappointment will be the disappointment of the church if the entire church is with me and they form the populace of the state and they believe that their children have suffered, their children have left school no job, their children are having paper certificate with which they cannot do anything with it. Now they know that I will do it. If you go to my plaza, for instance, the first plaza I built 34 years ago on Deco Road, you find that I have over 3,000 people trading there today. If you go to PTI, just the same. So what I'm saying is that they know you want somebody to govern you. You should pause for a while and ask, if this man have any head, what has he done up to the point where he says he want to govern you? Is it that he has built a house? What house? With stolen money, government taxpayers' money? Is it that? How? What has he done? I don't see any comparison, and Deltans ought to be wise. What has any of the candidates done on the ground to convince you? You want to put your house, you want to put your life, you want to put all your being for 8 years in the hands of somebody. You just need to ask yourself, who is this person? What has he done? Forget all those character assassinations that they took. I know, like somebody said, he said, look, they saw your star, so what they needed to do, and they were doing all these years, is to try to spoil your mien and everything, make noise about you. But of course, we are not foolish. We know what we are doing. So what I'm saying is that the church, I believe, strongly standing with me. Okowa has called them several times. This is the first time, as you can see, that Okowa is paying pastors and repaying pastors and repaying pastors, and they are all taking the money. So Deltans electorate should take a cue from the church. They are all taking the money and they will not vote one vote for him. The result tomorrow will show to Deltans that the church has taken responsibility, that the insult against the church, the insult against Christianity, the insult against our people have become a thing of concern for Deltans. Nobody wants to wait for another 8 years. A primate told me, an archbishop told me, he says, take a decision quickly and move from the PDP to another party. because you cannot wait for another 8 years. Deltans are dying and suffering. You are the beacon of hope. Move and make sure that we get it right. So I enjoin all Deltans to support the church as the way they support me, but most especially that they should vote for me and stay with the vote for the vote to be counted. I then ask, all of this money that they are bringing, be kind enough to have evidence to show for them. Because the whole idea is to make us worthless in our own state. One man alone cannot claim to be so knowledgeable that he alone can provide solutions to the problem. It is not correct, and I disagree.
Delta State is as diverse as its opportunities and options. However, it's arguable that not much of that have been harnessed. Quite succinctly, what will you be doing with a multi-city and resource-filled Delta State?
Delta State is not much as complex as people want to put it. The greatest thing we need to do here is first to find a governor who has character, which of course is what exemplifies me from other ones, with no any record of theft of the treasury of Delta State or any state in Nigeria. So that stands me out. 2, I have in my personal capacity proven that I know what it takes to run Delta. I just give you evidence of my 2 malls, for instance. We are putting up a factory, except this whole election run now, we are putting up a factory that will employ close to 500,000 people in our various sector factory. The factory has been installed, everything is ready to go. The solution is industry. I have practicalized it in my private capacity. So with a government, opportunities and what you have, it's a win-win situation. I give you an example. This local government where we are seated today, we have clay from the express road going to Port Harcourt all the way to Ogeribala. We have clay. You can bring 40 huge company. Better Glass today is making billions every year. You can bring 40 large companies to this area to want to produce glass, want to produce motor screen, want to produce bottles of any type. We have plate, tiles, and all of that with what we have naturally given to us as free. Go to Isoko, for instance. You can produce rice. When our colonial masters came, they identified Isoko as the best place to produce one of the best rice quality in the world. We will go back there and reenact that factory just as it is. Look at Saple African and timber and plywood. Today, all our wood and trees are being fallen by people who do not know the value and what it is. There is opportunity in every local government in Delta State. Take Asaba, for instance. Why not drag the market, which I'm going to do 2-3 miles into Asaba properly, to now bridge this Onisha market that has been talked to as though there's a mirage or something. Government has largely failed. Teachers are suffering. Our children have no schools. We have no people we can rely on with industry. If you take the whole of Delta State today that have over 250 great industries in our various local government, all of that is gone. I will encourage investors. I will encourage citizens from the state. As I've said 2 days ago, I want to have minimum start 10 persons from each local government that the government will partnership with and empower to bring industries to their local government. Take India. India has 1,000 plus company in every local government. That is the kind of drive I want to push. That's the kind of, I'm going to bring investors. One, trust me, as a criminologist, I will exterminate the security problem in Delta State within days of my being governor. Because it is easy. Truth, honesty, and character. What is being played at today is that we are being deceived. Delta State has become the headquarters of telling of lies. Nobody knows what is going on. Delta State, the government today is a government that lies to everybody, even lie to themselves. So I'm saying that the first thing to do is to get a government that has an entrepreneurial mind, which of course I do have. To have a government who has character, which of course I do have. To have a government who is transparent, who will take everybody in the state as one individual entity, not to go and develop one local government and what have you. Look at teachers. Teachers go to school, they get themselves educated to a level, they are gone. They don't get them elevated to the right position. Look at our teachers training school. We're establishing schools, we don't have teachers. In a whole school, for instance, you have 2 teachers in a whole school. The 2 teachers teaching. That's not a school to me. We are reducing the greatness of our children. We are reducing their talents. And I believe very strongly Deltans should take hold of that which is theirs. Delta State is the richest country in Nigeria. Delta State is richer than 42 countries in the world. Unless we harness and bring somebody we can trust with our resources and live all of these lies and beckoning, we are wasting our time.
Thank you immeasurably for giving us your time, Chief.
Thank you.